So my name's Qasim Baig. I'm based in Teesside. I work as a freelancer in the film and TV industry. I have done so since 2016. So I've sort of started out really when I was a kid. I've always been involved with cameras and editing and filmmaking and that sort of thing. And I've sort of taken that through education and up until university. And then I've now trying to make a career of it. Since I've graduated, I've worked on various productions around the UK, sort of big budget TV series, big films, to where I am today.
Yeah, I think you were the first person I knew that I was at university with at the same time who went straight out and got work in the creative industries. I mean, you kind of got off to a high flyer, didn't you? Was that had you already been working, like volunteering in the industry before then? How did you get so quickly into a job?
Yeah, so really, I think the first year of university, university did a great thing called Mind the Gap, which was like an industry-led day where industry professionals come in and talk about the industry from various industries, stuff like film, TV, but other media sectors. And that was for me where it really sort of kicked me in the right sort of area, because at that point, all I had was a passion of working in TV and film, but not actually a portfolio. So from after that session, I started to try and get placements and work experience, and did so throughout uni, right up until the day I graduated. I worked on various projects. And then that really gave me a really good jump start to head into the industry, and was very lucky with the opportunities I got the moment I left university, and hasn't sort of stopped since, which has been really great.
Okay, so what kind of things does your job involve doing?
So my job's more organisational in the creative sector rather than being an actual creative, but it's just as important. So I deal everything with organising a project in various stages, whether it's just an idea or a concept or a drawn out script, and bring that script to life really. So I'm currently working in the TV sector, so I normally join a job about 2 to 3 months before filming starts, and we set everything up from the production office, hiring crew, hiring office facilities, hiring equipment, getting things in place basically, and then seeing that through for each day-to-day shoot. So though it's not a creative job as such, it's just as important, if not more, without us to bring that sort of script or project to screen.
Yeah, absolutely. I was really keen to involve some of the behind the scenes people in this project, because I think the lack of recognition of how many people it takes in the team to make a film or to put on a production, I think is really underestimated. And I think that's perhaps why we don't realise how many people there are involved in the creative industries. But really, you only have to look at any film, even like a small independent film, at the cast list at the end. There are so many jobs that are involved, and everything, particularly in film, everything has to come together at exactly the right moment for any of it to work.
Yeah, like you say, if you look at any credits list, whether it's a small independent film, small independent project, to the big budget stuff, it does take a lot of people behind the scenes to make something happen. So, depending on the size of the project, it depends on the number of people you require. But even some of the smallest TV projects I've worked on, which is, say, even 50, 60, 70 crew, it does require a lot of time and a lot of effort. And the bigger the project is, the more the numbers you have, but you also have more help. So it really does depend, but there's a lot of effort and time that goes in behind the scenes, which sometimes I think is slightly underappreciated, because a lot of recognition is for those that are, say, on camera or those in a creative set. So it's sometimes good just to get that that message out, that there are a whole creative sector behind what you see, and our job is just as important as what you see on camera.
Yeah, absolutely. I couldn't agree more. Maybe because I've worked behind the scenes quite a bit. but no, not the point I'm trying to make. No, a bit glib there. Just, I do think it's under recognised, the amount of time and effort that goes in at every level and every part of the operation, and how utterly crucial that is. And yeah, talking of which, I kind of that kind of brings me to how have you managed during lockdown? How was it to begin with, and how are things now that we seem to be heading back into restrictions again?
Yeah, it's been an interesting time. As I was on a job just before lockdown came in, which I think for a lot of people was quite scary. Such an uncertain time for a lot of people. To be honest, we didn't really know what it was. To be honest, even until now, we still really don't know what it is. But it's been an interesting time. Luckily, I know a lot of people in my sector, a lot of friends haven't unfortunately been able to be furloughed in those first few months, and I was quite lucky that I joined a job just before the first initial furlough scheme sort of ended or started. So luckily I was furloughed for the first few months, and then I went straight back into work from the 1st of August, and we had to adapt quite quickly because I went back to the same job I started, and luckily our sector's adapted to actually working from home, which I haven't really been able to do in the 4 years I've been working in the industry, just because our sector just likes everyone to be in the office, whereas we've now had to adapt, and people can see that we can do the work from home if just as good, if not better. So yes, that was an interesting time, and then just to see how the industry has adapted itself. I genuinely didn't think I'd work in the industry again this year, just because I thought this thing could, we really didn't know what it was, and to be on a job now where we take COVID very seriously, and we can, film in a COVID safe environment, has really sort of impressed me how things have turned around in a matter of months. And I think our industry is one of the biggest industries for this, like sort of the country. So for filmmaking and TV making is quite crucial, and how we've adapted over the last few months very quickly with little to no guidance is really great to see. And it's great to actually be back on sets and seeing things being made, and it's definitely possible. And hopefully when we get out of this, the industry will boom again, like it was just before lockdown. But yeah, I think we're heading in the right direction.
Yeah, brilliant to think that's been largely been able to carry on. I mean, is that just a system of I guess highly organised sets with social distancing and cleaning of equipment and testing where necessary? Is that how it's made possible?
Yeah, exactly that. It's regular testing, reducing the numbers where possible. Sometimes that's not possible on a production. You actually need more people to implement those COVID procedures, having clear set guidelines, like this is what is expected. A lot of it's not just having the guidelines, but a lot of it's actually trusting the crew to do, be sensible, just not on set, but obviously off set and at home. And yeah, it's been interesting. We've had, from day one, with these clear guidelines in place, and everyone's really secure, and we get to work from home where possible, just to reduce that risk. So it's been really good to see everything turn around quite quickly, and I think for the foreseeable future it'll be the way it'll go.
Yeah, well, all I can do is hope for better times next year, and wish you luck. And I do hope that you get to finish off your current shoot and get all that wrapped up in the not too distant future. Yeah, let's hope the tears hold at least for now, so that you can do that, and let's see where we are in the months to come. Yeah, it's really weird because I started doing these interviews in July, and so it was like it's been hard, but we're coming out of it, and now it's like hard and we're going back into it. I just hope
definitely
resilience. That's what we need to do. That with Brexit on top, gosh, yes, be a better 2021. But let's hope so. And I hope for this there will be a big launch party down at the auxiliary at some point, but I'm not going to put any kind of date on that right now. Yeah, we'll have an online launch, it looks like.
Good.
And then
Definitely, by the looks of it. Yeah, seeing everything's going online. So yeah.
Yeah. All right. Oh, it's really good to speak to you, Qasim. It's been a couple of years, and I'm really glad that you're doing as well as you can do. It's like a funeral these days, isn't it? So you're doing as well as you can do in the circumstances.
Yeah.
Gosh, yes. Yeah. Anyway, I'm going to stop wittering. It's like I'm so confused at where I am now, because it's just I don't watch the news at the moment. Anyway, good luck with the rest of the film, and see you soon.
Lovely.